Well, hello there, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Soda Review Podcast. I'm your host, Julian, and I think we're alone now. On today's episode, we are going to be sampling what at first might seem like a novelty beverage, and perhaps in many ways it is. It's also, oddly enough, a beverage that is near and dear to my heart. It is the Chumlee Root Beer. And that's right, Chumlee, one of the colorful characters from the television show Pawn Stars, appears to have gotten himself a root beer. On the front, on the label here, we have Mr. Chumlee himself, sort of standing with his arms spread wide, as if to simultaneously welcome one into the fold of his root beer, but also in a way gauging from the jovial smile on his face to sort of say, hey, look at me, Ma, I made it. It also says, be awesome on the bottom there, which, although I've watched the show, I can't really say whether or not that's his coveted or patented catchphrase, but it would appear that might be the case. As far as the ingredients are concerned, surprise, surprise, we have the return of the carbonated artesian spring water, pure cane sugar, citric acid, ester gum, caramel color, and natural flavors, and, whoa, stop the presses, folks, no preservatives. It says here, flash pasteurized for safety, so we have no sodium benzoate. If we go a little bit further down the label, it says here it's the intellectual property of and also bottled by the Rocket Fizz Soda Pop and Candy Shops, LLC, which is in Nevada. I seem to recall him actually having some sort of a candy store on one of the episodes, so perhaps he does, in fact, bottle this himself. And if that is, in fact, the truth, and if that is, in fact, the case, hey, good on you, Chumlee. So, why I stated at the outset of the episode that this soda is near and dear to my heart, my mother had passed recently, and while she was still with us, we would often just sort of sit and watch the old TV. A couple of the programs that we frequented the most, Storage Wars, Have Gun Will Travel, Cheyenne, and of course, Pawn Stars. And she really took a liking to this Chumlee fella. So hey, Chum, if you're out there, thanks for making the last couple of years of my mother's life just that much more enjoyable. In fact, I even purchased one of these when I saw it first and showed it to her, and she got quite a kick out of it. I miss her dearly, and so whenever I turn to a Chumlee root beer, it kind of brings back some of those fond times. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my Pop the Top bottle opener, and we're going to crack into this bad boy. Oh, and I just noticed on the bottle cap, I like this. It's got the Rocket Fizz logo, which is a nice little lad riding atop a rocket as it leaves Earth's orbit and is sort of venturing off into space. He probably should be wearing a helmet. But I guess then how else would he enjoy the bottle of soda that he's got with him? You know, some people are pioneers, and game recognized game, I suppose. So here we go. We're going to crack into this bad boy. Beautiful pop. A little bit of that fizz, a little bit of that mist. I'm already enjoying this. I'm already excited. So without any further extrapolation, Chumlee Root Beer, bottoms up. Yeah, that's the old chum right there. And so the reason I also mentioned that this might at first glance strike one as a novelty soda is, of course, because we have Chumlee on it, and everybody knows Chumlee as the sort of good-natured goofball. But in fact, the flavor of this root beer, it's no slouch. I'll tell you that much. I've come across a number of craft root beers in my day. I've personally sampled at least well over 40 or 50 of them. And, each one's trying to break into the game and put its stamp on it and reinvent the wheel most often, when really that's not at all necessary. And that's what Chumlee manages to avoid. Surprisingly enough, this is a really solid root beer. It's somewhere in between a Barks and a Dad's. It's got a little bit of that bite, not nearly as much as a Barks. So it makes it go down a little bit easier, but it's got that old fashioned barrel root beer profile, a sort of medley of caramel, star anise, if you're from across the pond, and vanilla extract, which I'm gonna venture to guess, and perhaps I'm wrong, but I'm not staking my career on this, of course, but I'm gonna venture to guess that there is a little bit of that vanilla in here. Nonetheless, it's a solid root beer. And looking at it with my boy Chum, thinking back fondly on the times that I spent watching the old boy with my mom, it's just some good feeling. So I'm going to go in for one more round, and then I think we're going to settle up. Yeah, it's a solid, tasty little root beer, and based on the nature of its sort of faux novelty appeal, it's probably one that's readily available in most markets or regions. So, if you happen upon it, give it a shot, and hopefully you enjoy it. So I think that's going to wrap this one up. I'd like to, of course, thank you all for joining me on another episode of the Soda Review Podcast. I've been Julian, signing off.